Hey, sis, how's it going? One of my clients is newly engaged, and if you want to see her engagement ring and just delight in her happiness, I encourage you to head over to Instagram or Facebook. My account is Christian Dating Coach, and you will see the most gorgeous sparkly. It is, I think, a sapphire. It's just so beautiful, so unique, so her. Everybody is so excited for her because we have watched her journey since the start of this year. Guys, this girl met this guy in January of 2024. It is now July 15 of 2024. Get this, she got engaged in less than 6 months. And we are so excited for her. So if you want to see the ring and if you want to just like delight some more in your sister's happiness, head over to my Instagram, head over to my Facebook accounts, and check out this gorgeous sparkly. But wait, just wait, there's more. This particular client has literally documented day by day this relationship with this particular guy. In fact, I'm going to read to you what she sent to me, and she is just, I just love this client so much. He's such a gentleman, takes his faith so seriously, is so fun to be with, and just has truly pure intentions about dating God's way too. I don't think I've ever dated someone quite like this. I am so grateful for the renewed mindsets I get to carry into this time getting to know him. I am very excited to see where it goes. Well, she wrote that, girls. She is now engaged, planning a wedding, picking a date, a wedding date, and looking at venues. Like, guys, it is happening. So if you've ever been wondering, like, does coaching work? Does coaching produce results? I'm here to tell you, yes, it does. So, how did she do it? Like, this particular podcast episode is totally devoted to this one client and how she got engaged in less than 6 months. I am going to tell you, I'm going to spill the tea, I'm going to tell you all the hows. And if you're wanting more information, like, how do I do this, Michelle? How do I do what this client did where she got engaged in less than 6 months? I want you to send me a message. Send me a message. It could be through my website, thechristiandatingcoach.com. It could be through my Instagram. It could be through my Facebook. Or you could just send me an email. It's Michelle at thechristiandatingcoach.com. Get in touch with me and we are going to get you married, sis. All right, now here are the how to's. I have four steps that I want to share about how this client created an engagement ring in less than 6 months for herself. And after I share those four steps, I am going to read you in her own words how she believed she landed this amazing guy. Okay. So the first step that this client did in order to get engaged in 6 months is work on her attitude. She was so careful about her attitude. I've been watching this client for a long time. I would say since about the start of the pandemic. And every time I coached her, every time I listened to her, I heard a woman that was not complaining about her circumstances. Now, listen, some of y'all are complaining. I hear it. You bring it to the coaching calls. You've got a complaining attitude. That's not going to work. Your energy determines your impact. We're going to talk more about energy later because this particular client really guarded her energy. But I want to talk to you a little bit more about your attitude. When you've been single for what feels like a long time, and for some of you, you can legitimately say, yeah, it's been a long time. You know, you're 35, you're 45, you're 55, you're 65, and you're single. So I talked to a client this week. She's been single for, I think she said it was 20 years. That's a long time. It's a long time. It's hard to keep a good attitude when you've been single for that long. You know, I have clients that, and even myself, I was a virgin until I got married, and I didn't get married until I would say I was like 36 and 11 months, so nearly 37. That's a long time. That's a long time to be celibate. That's a long time to be a virgin. That's a long time. But what I noticed for this particular client, that no matter what her circumstances were, and this particular client is 28, um, what I noticed about this particular client is that she was very careful to read scripture. I noticed she was really reading scripture. I noticed she was staying positive through it all. And even over the years, and she was dating other guys and meeting other men, she kept a good attitude. Okay, so that's the first step. Get a good attitude. And if you're complaining, stop. Okay, because it's not going to help you. All right, let's talk about energy. Yes, she did buy into the concept of siren energy, and she kept asking me, how do I do this? Is this siren energy? I want to hear more about siren energy. And she, as I said before, your energy determines your impact. Now, one of the things about attitude is that it will affect your energy. They almost go hand in hand. Energy, I kind of think, is how you show up to the world. Attitude is internal. It's an internal thing. Energy is something that the world is going to see, you like how you show up to the world. And I believe that siren energy is what we want to use when we're talking to everybody. It's not just men and compatible and handsome men that get our siren energy. We are sirens. We are sirens. So we don't have an on and off switch. We are just captivating and alluring and mesmerizing and magnetic. And we draw people into us. We draw people in. I like to think of siren energy as something that you can have for just anybody in your life, because it is so warm and inviting. It's so encouraging to have siren energy, to be around someone with siren energy. It feels so good. And this client was so good at that. She always asking me questions about energy, questions about siren energy. And I really think that this is like something that she's been working on for a while. She's been working on her siren energy. All right, so that's attitude, energy. The next step, the next word is action. Man, this girl took action. She was always going on dates. She was always volunteering in groups in her location, and she was active in her career. She was active on the apps. She didn't give up. She was constantly taking what we call massive action, action that is worthy of the result that you're looking for. Now, a lot of you are taking action, but one, you don't have a good attitude. Two, you don't have siren energy. Three, it's kind of like dabbling. Your action is more like dabbling. I'm just putting my foot in the water of dating apps. Well, this client went hardcore. She didn't complain about the fact that she was dating online. She just got to work. And she used the apps that made sense for her. She went volunteering in places in her neighborhood, places that were local to her. So she was constantly meeting new people, getting that. Remember, when you're constantly meeting new people, that's going to change your energy as well. That's going to affect your attitude. She was taking massive action. One time she came back from a date and she just kind of explained to me, this just isn't my guy, but it's okay. I know I'm getting closer, right? She was taking massive action. One of the things that you want to do when you're taking massive action is to be creating worthy fails. Worthy fails. A lot of you are failing ahead of time. Like you just don't go on the date, or you just don't spend time on the apps, or you just don't participate in your local area. That's failing ahead of time. That's not a worthy fail. But when you go on a date, and remember what we said before, every date makes me a better date. When you go on a date and it doesn't go out well, and you're like, this isn't my person, that's a worthy fail, especially if you showed up to the date. Now, if you showed up to the date with a bad attitude, low energy, and just kind of as a miserable person, that's not a worthy fail. You in your heart get to decide what a worthy fail is, but I'm here to tell you this particular client, the reason why she's engaged today is because she did a lot of massive action and she created a lot of worthy fails. If you want to learn more about worthy fails, send me a message and I'll do a whole podcast just on worthy fails, because I truly want you to get this concept that massive action is always worthy for this particular goal. For this goal of getting married, you want to do massive action. You want to have worthy fails. Collect them. Collect them like candy pieces, because those worthy fails are going to get you married. All right. Lastly, the last step that she did was learning. She invested in my course. She invested in coaching. She invested time and energy and effort into learning. And I really think that this is something that a lot of people just don't do. They just assume, oh, I know everything. This should come natural. Why? Why would this come natural? Where would you have learned these things? That's the whole reason why I'm doing this podcast and you're listening to the podcast, because you want to learn siren energy. You want to learn how to captivate a man. You want to learn how to inspire a man to commit to you. Well, this client, she worked hard. I remember times when I would say, go back and watch this week of the module. This module of the course has been updated. Go check it out. And she was like, I'm on it. She was so diligent to learn. She was so diligent to pursue the goals that she was striving for. And that's what I recommend you do. Okay, so those are the 4 steps, all right? Attitude, energy, action, learning. And I don't want you to get stuck or hung up by any one of these particular steps, because they all together got her engaged. They all together got her choosing the right person. That's one of the things that happens in my coaching. We get to talk about the guys that you're talking to, and you're not making this decision alone. Your sisters are hearing it, because she was participating in group coaching programs. Your sisters are hearing about this guy. I am hearing about this guy. We're asking questions about this guy together. You're not doing this alone, sis. You don't have to do this alone. You've been doing this a long time on your own. Aren't you tired, sis? Don't you want some help? Don't you want to get results? I'm here to tell you, my coaching gets people results. My coaching gets people engaged. I told you, I don't know if I told you this, but I just went and picked up a little baby of one of my clients. She got married, she got engaged, she got married, she had a baby. Boom. Christian dating coach. Yeah, I'm responsible for babies now, or at least a little bit responsible. So listen, if you've been listening to me for a long time and you're like, okay, listen, this podcast is really interesting. This girl sounds really interesting. Her Instagram is really interesting. I need to talk to her. Send me a message. All right, I'd like to end this particular podcast with my client having the last word. Now, she was kind enough to write out like a whole page of just beautiful feedback on how she found her person, which one of my techniques were the ones that served her best. She wrote out like a whole page, ladies. And I thought about, what should I do? I'm going to read it. She gets the last word. She's about to get married. She has this beautiful sapphire ring. She gets the last word, okay? Here we go. Masculine language and reminders about it remain a huge help, and the idea of affirming a guy's masculinity, honey words, teasing, is so helpful to me. I'll literally read back through drafted texts before I send them to make sure I'm working this in somehow in our conversations. And then, once things are a little more serious, I'm excited to try working in more desire language. But want this to match the pace of the relationship, getting to know each other like you talked about. And like I think you mentioned in week 3, that's week 3 of a coaching program, all of this truly is helpful both in texting and in actual conversations. So what she's saying here is my Flirt Pure methods. My Flirt Pure techniques are honey words, teasing, respect and manliness, and I want you energy. And she's describing all of that here. She talks about masculine language, which is how we talk to men. And she talks about desire language, which is also what I describe as I want you energy. Okay, here's some more that she has to say. The idea too of saying what's on your mind just brings a whole new level of confidence to say the cute, flirty, vulnerable, complimentary thing to a guy and not hold back being myself and having fun with him. Also, I can't remember if it was from the replays of your coaching or not, but I 100% started using your affirmations. Guys enjoy having fun talking to me. It's such a good mindset shift. Same goes for the mindset of approaching interactions with the question, how can I bless him? Which totally helps diffuse nervous energy and brings good perspective to interactions. Even breakups, calling it quits, you can still honor each other in the process. Yeah, so my client here is talking about some things that I like to say during coaching. I like to remind people that when you're talking to a guy, any guy, just be thinking in your mind, how can I bless him? And then also, too, the kind of energy, that siren energy you get when you have the right thoughts, the right mindset. And that's what she's talking about. And so she's saying one of the things that I often say is guys love talking to me. I used to like thinking that when I was single, and now my clients are adopting it too. What she said is guys enjoy, have fun talking to me. She's saying that she adopted that mindset for herself. All right. And then she had one last message. The practice texts you give were also so fun to brainstorm with as they went along, trying a long way, trying to think what I'd say. Practice was really helpful. The biggest takeaway, though, which you do so well, is asking direct questions. Having tools on hand, like what's the worst that can happen, challenging negative thoughts and self talk, and asking questions that contain a level of accountability are all so helpful and a skill that clearly blesses all of your clients, Michelle. From a Christian perspective, too, I think the work you do to challenge fears, negative thinking, and the unkind stories women tell themselves is also a form of spiritual warfare against the lies of the enemy. Rather than sitting in thought patterns that keep us worried and afraid, your approach, Michelle, invites women to be confident in ourselves, trusting in God's goodness, which is probably my overall favorite thing about learning from you. Like, this work is holy, and we don't have to feed our fears. We can have fun and have hope. In the vein of accountability, your Instagram challenges also really helped encourage ownership, which I'm learning too is a very important part of the dating process. There is very little value in being passive. Whew, this girl has become the master. Honestly, maybe she should just become a dating coach. Stop whatever she's doing. Like, she's doing some big, she has an awesome career. But maybe she just should become a dating coach, because literally the student has become the master. Did you hear what she said? There is very little value in being passive. That is the whole point of my business, because I find that too many women truly are just wishing and hoping and praying that God will send a man to marry them to their doorstep like an Amazon package. Like, are you doing that? Are you waiting for God to send you a man like you're waiting for your Amazon packages to arrive? Because if you are, you might be single for a long time. And I love what this client also said about challenging negative thoughts and negative self-talk. So I really hope this was helpful. I wanted her to speak. I wanted her words to be heard. She is full of such wisdom, and that is why she received the result that she received. That is why the coaching worked for her. But it can work for you too. Yeah? Let's get you married, sis.